show them what you can do. Show them what you can do, please show them what you can do. I said, in this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do, please show them what you can do. You make this parade a mere charade if you're marching just for fun. Our troops must feel your thanks for real before the marching is done. They know side by side you can match their stride to the drum beat and the brass, but they're not impressed with you unless you can match their stride in class. This may not sound too diplomatic, but I cannot be more emphatic as I tell you, it's problematic when you do less than your best. Especially when it's because you put your brilliance on pause for the mere peer applause it draws from a so-called friend doing less. Quit playing, I'm saying, you know that you are great, and we know it, so show it. Don't make our heroes wait. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do, please show them what you can do. For those of you who already do the things that make us proud, your nation in appreciation says thanks to you out loud. Your schoolmates should imitate the way you tap your potential. Let me try to convince them why their effort is essential. Our men and women in uniform, before, during, and after Desert Storm, always perform above the norm, anywhere and everywhere on the planet. They need to follow our heroes' lead, but they cannot lead if they cannot read. Allow me, please, to plant this seed. Don't take freedom for granted. I'm serious, I'm furious to see U.S. schools behind. Remove the clatter, it's just a matter of our making up our minds. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. We believe in you, warriors protect you to do what you must to rise. Please do your part. Please start before another warrior dies. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. They sacrifice for you. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. Please.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, the academic patriotism program that is dedicated to veterans and serious secondary scholars. I am your announcer, KUAW Wilson. Now here is our host, civilian urban educator, Carl Boyd.
Thank you so very, very much, KUAW Wilson. It is Wave Your Grades, the first Saturday of the month, which means the Smart Club with Valencia brought us. We have very special guests with us in and out of the studio today. Dr. Sarita Graham, very special in-studio guest with Dr. Sarita Graham Ministries. And, of course, we will be turning it over to Valencia and the Smart Club in a moment. But let me do this and admitting this afternoon that it is bittersweet. One of the gentlemen I have known since I was teaching at J.S. Chick Elementary School in 1980 was Eric Wesson. Eric Wesson is now on the radio. He is the publisher and editor of The Next Page KC, was with the Call paper for a long time. And Eric's mother, Loretta Thompson, passed away. And if you want information, look for Palestine Missionary Baptist Church for all of the details. Also, I am a member of Friendship Baptist Church, and one of our members, Carlton Ridley, passed away. His wife, now widow, Dr. Catherine Ridley. And I often boast about the fact that Carlton Ridley, when I came here from Chicago, Illinois, August 1980, introduced me to Wanda Williams, who is now Wanda Boyd. So
Wonderful one.
Carlton Ridley introduced my wife and me, passed away, and you'll get information about that from Friendship Baptist Church, a congregation of Jesus Christ. I said bittersweet because we are blessed when we can count the wonderful things someone has done
Mhm.
and have lived long enough to recount what a blessing they have been. Eric was talking this morning about how his mother led him to prayer, and indeed wanted to make that observation. The other good thing is we also have good news from young people, but Valencia brought us, before I ask you to tell us who you brought us, let me first ask if Dr. Sarita Graham will introduce herself to your young people, and you can carry it on from there. Dr. Sarita Graham.
I'm truly grateful every time God always show up with Mr. Boyd. Boy, I learned so much from that great man of God. And to my friend Valencia, good to see you, my sister. And I'm so glad to be here today. I mean, it's like, whoa. But one of the things that Mr. Boyd and myself had talked about, God had blessed me with four TV stations. And I had shared with Mr. Boyd, it's time for the youth to come forward and be able to do something positive in the community where people can actually see them on TV, and they can say, if they can do it, I can do it. So it's time for us to make a different type of change. But I am so honored to see you, my sister.
Praise God. Valencia brought us.
I just want to say, Miss Rita, okay. First, yes, love you, hugs, hugs. I don't know why or how, but about 4 weeks ago, I was on YouTube. I was doing something, maybe even looking for something with we were doing with Brave Your Grades or something. But I saw your photo and a lot of other ladies
Hmm.
in a group or something that you guys are, in or with or whatever. But I saw the TV shows. I was like, oh my God, look at this Serena. I was like, oh my, I didn't know. I was like, oh my God, okay, yay, yes. And it was meaning to, check up with you
Hmm.
to ask if our young people can help you in any way. Which is that's what is just funny. And then I didn't do it then, and because we've been, doing scholarships and stuff. But when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, how can we help? So, Mr. Boyd, of course, you're making it the connection happen
He
that
really did. Hmm.
That's
is intended anyway, and it's now we can't see you, Miss Reese. At some point, we'll want to make sure that the camera can catch her, so people can see her beautiful smile, and because she's
yes,
always laughing and
absolutely.
smiling. So, at some point, so we can see you too. Meaning, at some point during the show, whatever comfortable for you, since you're in the studio. So, um,
And let
what I
me
want to
just tell
share.
you, our
Go ahead.
Peach, Peach, that is our producer, engineer, and co-host. DeQuay Wilson said that we only have one camera in operation, and that's why you
Gotcha.
can't see her now. But we will make sure to correct that the next time we're on together. But please continue.
Amen. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm just calling people out. Sorry. So
Uh,
yes. Thank you, thank you. We have some amazing people today. My young people, they're texting me and talking to me, but they're not on here yet.
oh, okay.
And so sometimes they're at work, different things, but I'm trying to see because they're talking to me, they're texting me, but they're not on here with us. So we'll have to. I'll text them and see where they are. But in
Okay.
the interim, what we were trying to make sure that we did on today, because spring break is coming up,
Hmm.
and those who know me, they know my big thing is just I practice law and I do recovery and I do different things for adults and that. But I love young people. And I
Yes.
love to do all that we can to help them to catch their dreams and make them grow. And Mr. Boyd and I, we were actually just talking a little bit yesterday about the difference between, education, and there's in
Mhm.
school and there's out of school. So I'm one of those out of school time, teaching them all we can
Yes.
people. I'm an after school advocate, and that means a lot of things to me. So, but again, those who know me, they know that's what we do. So spring break and summer break are the times where we try really, really hard to make sure that our young people are really not just busy, but busy learning from adults who care. And
Yes.
so, which is, mentoring, that piece. So with spring break coming up, most of our young people that are in the career club this semester are from De La Salle High School. We have other kids too from Lee Summit, Blue Springs, etc. But the
Oh,
bulk of
good.
them right now are from De La Salle High School. And we have a health professions club and engineering and all that with their De La Salle High School.
Hmm.
And so what we are talking to the students about this week is what we're going to do for spring break.
Mm.
And then we'll talk about summer. So I've got two people that are perfect to talk about. Miss Paris will talk about spring break a little bit, and
Yes.
then we have an amazing person, Miss Sherry White Tahid, that will talk with us a little bit about, like some summer opportunities, because those are the times not where students just get in trouble. We hear a lot about that, all those breaks after school where they get in trouble, but it's also the best time for us to plant seeds and water and nurture. And so
Oh, this is
I'm always
so good.
excited
Mhm.
when other people in the community come and help us talk about stuff. And definitely, Miss Sarita, we'll want to definitely hear and talk more about, what we can do with our young people and all their talents to
Yes.
support you where you will allow us. So, and we'll talk about that as we talk about the different things they're doing. So, Miss Paris, I'm going to start with you. She's one of our amazing mentors of many, many years, and
Yes.
um, does ACT prep, all that type of stuff. And she had the blessing to go on a college tour with some
Oh,
students for a
yeah.
week
Oh,
and a couple of years ago, and she might tell you about that a little bit. But because she did that, she has been really the most equipped from that experience herself doing that with the career club to help us then prepare the weeks of spring break for our young people, because she knows kind of what happened, what happens. She got to really see it. So appreciate
excellent.
you for that, Miss Paris. So if you can, Miss Paris, and I know, you may be at work and stuff now or at basketball with your kiddos, your own kiddos. Can you tell us a little bit about the spring break schedule that we're planning with our young people so far?
Good morning, everyone. Well, afternoon, I should say.
Good
Um,
afternoon.
this upcoming week is spring break for most of the KC kids. And this week, what we're going to do for our kids on Monday, we're going to make sure we visit the community gardens. On Tuesday, we're going to try to do some food is medicine and do another career kitchen at the Jim Nunley Community Room. On Wednesday, we're going to visit Rockhurst University and do some ACT prep because that's extremely important right now. We want to make sure these kids are ready scholastically. Thursday, we're going to visit Harris Stowe Health Sciences Program and do lunch with the St. Louis Career Professionals. And then on Friday, we're going to do some more ACT prep and studying on our own. Make sure they run through some practice tests so we can see just where they're sitting and get them more prepared. And then on Saturday, we're going to visit UCM in Warrensburg only for the admitted students because, their priority needs to come first since they were already admitted.
This is outstanding. And Attorney Valencia brought us before you go on. I just have a question for Dr. Sarita Graham. As
Yes.
you hear the various activities of the young people, I think in terms of how that can be properly covered with the medium of whatever that might be, visually, audibly. How would you capture some of that, Dr. Graham, on your offerings?
Well, basically, my heart is working with youth. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's something that youth used to do something different to not only empower themselves, but empower others in a positive way. Um, we have four different stations, and what we did last year was we got Dr. Dre, and I pulled a lot of kids in my neighborhood, in the Washington Woodley neighborhood, and we had the kids to actually ask Dr. Dre different questions and stuff. And so they was overjoyed about being able to actually hear Dr. J. And so, and they've been doing well in school, and I try to support them. But it's an open. If you have something you want to share, something you think would work with the children, you're more than welcome.
This is outstanding. Go ahead, Dr. Valencia Broadus. You have another very special guest for us.
I do. I'm gonna do a quick, not a clarification, but a expounding for the spring break. It's not this coming Monday. It is the just so it's Monday the 17th to the
Mm-hmm.
21st. And so,
All
but that
right.
is the schedule. So thank you, Miss Paris, so much. So that way y'all know we still have time to do things and then get ready.
Oh, yes. Good
Hmm.
point.
Want to make sure. But no, thank you. Because what we're again trying to do is look at they're going to be on break, and our seniors, for example, we've got three that have graduated. They've been admitted to several colleges,
Oh,
and
yeah.
one of the ones is the ones in Warrensburg, so they want to go see that one.
Right.
But we also want to take them to an HBCU on purpose.
Hmm.
And so Hairston was one of the ones we have other students going to. We've talked about Lincoln and this. If they want to go there in our routes, we'll do that. The reason is that from a current event perspective, we want to make sure that, ourselves, of course, but others really understand that with a lot of the executive orders that our current administration has put out, that a lot of the colleges and universities, they definitely, now are
Okay.
discouraged and then told, look, we ain't doing no minority stuff. We ain't, not just black, you're talking about women, everything. So they're saying, y'all ain't got to do none of that. And it includes scholarships,
My
housing,
God.
and everything. And
Hmm.
so we want to make sure that we're telling our students that even though that's the case, DEI does not equal black. DEI equals
Exactly.
whatever, they're whatever people are doing, but merit and excellence equals, what you can show not just through your grades on paper, but through your volunteering, your service. ACT, unfortunately, it is a tool that's used, to
Right.
help people to know that that's where students are. But the HBCUs, as other people are going to feel more and more and more comfortable saying, you can't come here, because now they say it and it's the law and it is what it is.
Hmm.
So a lot of our students, who really sometimes aren't, in my opinion, introduced heavily to the HBCUs and who they are and where they are, we need to start reintroducing them to those schools because they will, I believe, and hope anyway, that they will be embraced more.
Hmm.
Now, with saying that though, as more and more students begin to, based off of what I kind of just described, maybe start looking more at HBCUs, well, so are their peers. And so
Okay.
it's still going to be competitive. So
Yes.
they still have to make sure that they have the grades and the ACT and the volunteer experience and the professional um, experiences that they can show, how great they are. Because no matter where we are, we should be competing with the best anyway. And um, so I want to make sure that I'm saying why we're picking non-HBCU, HBCU, expose our kids to it all
Yes.
because it all can be great for them if they know about it. So I just want to say that. And then, so that's spring break. And then let's jump on over to summer. Summer, of course, is longer. There's more time. A lot of students they're not, doing a summer school. It's hard for our younger students, high school students, to find jobs that are paying okay, or that they like, or that they're skilled up for. And
Okay.
so jobs and internships are a big thing that we try to do with them, whether it's doing a radio show with you, Mr. Boyd, or other, places where people allow our young people to come and
Yes.
work and learn and be guided. And so Miss Sherry, White Tahi, one of my amazing friends, she had shared a little bit with me about, an opportunity, and I wanted her just to share foundational stuff about it. And of course, we'll go and get more. But when she shared it, I'm like, well, will you come on and tell us about it?
All
Because
right. Excellent.
we really appreciate that. So Miss Sherry, she's a community health worker. She is, I mean, she's health professional. She's all of that. So it's health and wellness of these young people and others
Cool.
too is
Yes,
is her
indeed.
thing. But tell us a little more, Mr. Boyd. He'll probably ask you anyway more about you. But talk with us a little bit
Yes.
about kind of some of this good news for our young people for the summer, please.
Are you on mute? I think perhaps. There you go. I'll bet we'll be able to hear you
Okay,
now.
there I am.
Thank you. Perfect.
Greetings, everybody, and thank you, Miss Valencia, for inviting me again to your programming, and thank you for the work that you do, Mr. Boyd,
Thank
in
you.
public space. It was a conversation, and summer is coming, and I feel like the Summer Youth Employment Program is not promoted amongst our community and young people. And even organizations who have businesses can sign up to be a work site to these summer youth employment programs through the Full Employment Council or
Mm-hmm.
Missouri Works or Kansas Works or different things. So that's for you all to involve yourselves with if you want an intern or an apprentice. Those summer youth employment dollars are there for those things. Um, anyway, so I'm going to make my screen a little smaller to just give you some of the sites that young people can go to and sign up. Now, they will need ID, which is their social security card, and maybe their student ID, but preferably a non-driver's ID. The ages on the Missouri side are 16 to 24,
Okay.
and on the Kansas side, it's 14 to 21. We have a full employment council inside of the city
Oh,
um,
Hmm.
on 18th Street.
oh yes. Clyde McQueen.
Right.
Okay.
And then we
Okay.
have Working for Youth Pro K, which is kansascitycommongood.org.
Wow.
And I'm listing these. I'm going to send them to Valencia to share with her organization, but I just wanted to go over some of them. Youth Ambassadors Inc., which is on Troost between Linwood, closer to Linwood than 31st Street, but right there between the Family Dollar and the corner bus stop. And then scheduling, which is Service Fusion on Instagram. Summit Future Foundation, and then
Interesting.
African History. And you can ask me questions after, I just want to make sure. African History Saturday Camp Choice. And some of you might be familiar with Red Tail Academy, which is a group of people who fly planes or teach young
Yeah.
people and
Wow.
take them on. So, and then Youth Services from the Community Action Agency of Greater Kansas City is another site
My
that will
goodness.
register and sign up children. I feel that having work experience or apprenticeships helps prepare people for interpersonal skills, a work ethic, and work environment. What you do at work, you don't do on the playground or at home or at church. And it's a different an important skill to develop because office politics can either propel you very high into your career or block you,
My
you know,
God.
almost. And sometimes people don't know why they're not moving, or how to maneuver in those environments. So the more experience and exposure young people have to that, I think overall their careers and life are better. But what happens to us is we don't get the message out. And the young people, when they do go to apply for these things in summer, they're all full.
Let me ask a couple
Hmm.
of things. Well, let me just mention that
Hmm.
Attorney Valencia, one of the reasons that Dr. Sarita Graham is here is our being tutored on getting the word out. But
Hmm.
let me ask Sister Tahid if we should assume that the young people who are interested in what you're doing in Kansas should reside in Kansas, and the young people interested in Missouri should reside in Missouri, or could you apply across state lines?
So, with some of these programs that I listed individually, um, a no.
Okay.
FEC is you would have to be in Missouri to access the summer youth employment dollars
Yes.
of the FEC. Now there
Okay.
are agencies that are that I didn't list yet, which are uh,
Wow.
Youth Volunteer Center, YVC of Kansas City,
This is good.
YVC.org. Um, and so they don't call it employment, they'll call it a stipend or apprentice, which
Yes.
will also not direct our children to these positions because a stipend, what's a stipend?
And
You know, we make assumptions, and if you're a kid or a child or a young person, you hear employment, you're thinking job and money. But
this is
stipends
so good.
oftentimes are more than hourly wage and less taxing on the individual. So YVC, which is a Youth Volunteer Corp of Kansas City, um, has some programs
My
um,
goodness.
She got a lot of
and
information
then the
there.
YMCA,
Yes.
which has their Kansas City Development Urban Impact Center of Link. Oh, I got those. I put those together, so I apologize. The Y Club Academy with the YMCA.
Let me
They have
That's
stipends.
something.
before I go to mid-program break, let me just congratulate Attorney Valencia Broadus for the caliber of guests you bring. I think that I am reasonably astute, but this is information with which I was totally unfamiliar. And when we come back from the break, I would also want Dr. Graham to talk about how those kinds of things can be properly exposed on one or more of her TV channels. But please allow us just to do a quick break. And when we come back, we want to go straight to Attorney Valencia Broadus. But here is DeQuay Wilson.
Letting our 7th through 12th grade students know that you can win a monetary award from our sponsoring organization. Yes, we do say organization on purpose. It is with purpose. Stutes for Boots. Your essay title will be Heroes You Know You Didn't Know Were Heroes. Your content will identify a veteran at your school who can be absolutely anyone, an administrator, a coach, a teacher, custodian, absolutely anyone. If your essay is chosen and submitted by an adult who gives you permission to read it on this Waive Your Grades program, you will be awarded a monetary prize. Please send your inquiry or entry to academicpatriotism@gmail.com. That is academicpatriotism@gmail.com. Now back to our host, Carl Boyle.
And thank you so much to Quay Wilson. I said that I was going to go right away to Attorney Valencia Broadus, but let me do this because that spot reminded me we are civilians, but our program is dedicated to veterans. And I did not mention when I said the mother of Eric Wesson had passed away, her name is Loretta Thompson, that she was one of the first women Marines. And don't want to forget mentioning that. Now, please, back to Valencia Broadus. Go right ahead.
So I'm going to yield some of my time to back to Miss Sherry because she has told us so. But thank you, Mr. Boyd. She's told us so much, and I think that I'm just going to start with the word stipend. We often tell our students, when we're volunteering, we're always just doing different stuff. And, hey, we'll give you a stipend or a gift card. But we say stipend, which is not a gift card or something like that. And they're like, what's that, Miss V? Because I'm like, so we have to say it's money.
Yes.
Because they don't know. And when you said it, I was like, they really don't know what that is. And so we do that a lot, though, because we try to get them volunteering somewhere every week. That's how we keep them, out and doing stuff. So, hey, come. Even like Samuel Rogers, different places. We went to go volunteer there a couple of times. Each time we went, they gave us a gift card, a stipend. And so the kids are like, they gave us money.
Yes.
Yes, it's money.
Okay.
We can spend this. So I want to go back to you, Miss Sherry, and but thank you, because I've written down most of all that you said. I have to be honest, I ain't even heard of these places.
Yes.
Most of them, half of them, ain't heard of like at all. Definitely didn't know they did that.
Right. And what happens is the kids who are in the know flood and make application, and their
good
summers
point.
are already determined,
Yes.
planned out. And then
Yes.
we're getting kind of jobs that aren't going to propel us or educate us or expand our skill set. So these are some programs that receive our tax dollars to create opportunities for our young people. And they change their names sometimes,
My Lord.
depending on the people they're trying to appeal to, but I keep track of them.
Good.
So the
Good.
Youth Development Kansas City Urban Impact Center, which is a part of Lincoln Education, they have a youth program run by 4-H. So farming, husbandry, and different skills like that are provided in that training. So people who are interested in being veterinarians or who want to help or care for animals, that's a really good program for the summer.
Wow. And I'll tell you something that has happened recently. There has been exposure, and again, I'll go back to Dr. Sarita Graham as it relates to exposure. But young people in our community into farming. And,
Most definitely.
Yes, ma'am. So while we have you in that kind of climate of exposure, knowledge, activity, and the summer, let me just say, Dr. Sarita Graham, here I am learning stuff, and as a matter of fact, Attorney Valencia Broadus had the audacity to say that she's learning as well. We are learning things that we have not heard of before. What if, Dr. Graham, we became a conduit, as it were, when we hear these things, whether we can expose them or not, just give them to you anyway and see what might be done with them?
Yeah, that is phenomenal. What I did with some of the youth last year, it was in the summertime. I had introduced them to how to um, be on a TV show. And a lot of the young men and women were gifted in many areas. And when we pulled it together, it was just it was just unbelievable because a lot of the parents could not believe to see their kids actually on TV.
Wow.
And they learned a lot of other things. And then I had the opportunity to contact a celebrity where they was able to ask him questions.
That's good.
And I was trying to build them up so that they know that they are somebody, and you don't have to be a game baby. You don't have to follow a crowd. You know, build your own wealth and build your own crowd. And it really turned out very, very successful. And I was just, they said, you're going to do it again this year. So I said, yeah, I'm going to do it this year, but I want to get some new people. I said, but y'all can mentor them so y'all can know what y'all did and what you have accomplished and being able to, run your own TV show. And it was very successful.
As a matter of fact, Attorney Valencia brought us, does that sound familiar as it relates to the Smart Club, wanting to get exposure and how to get
Absolutely.
exposure?
It does. We've done radio shows. We've quite a few of them over the past 5 years where our students, they come in, they produce the radio shows and do all the research and all of that, and it's been on radio. And so getting them to definitely, get stronger verbally and all of that. But once we started doing Mr. Boyd's and a couple other ones, Mr. Walker and there at the radio station,
Yes.
because through COVID, everything turned to Zoom, so everything was on camera. And so
Good point.
they had to learn to start turning their, cameras on and presenting and all that. So it was an amazing thing past probably 3 years for sure. We had different classes each semester. They come in and they do radio shows and help, do the research setup. And Mr. Walker would teach them about and others about the boards. And
That's
it
right.
was amazing. So we that type of opportunity for us helps make sure that we're doing all we can in supporting our kids in getting stronger in reading, writing, critical thinking, public speaking, technology, and all that,
Yes.
which is the whole, the big piece of the Smart Curve Club. So we would love any way to, I mean, if there's space or anything to do that, also making sure that I remind people that whenever we can, we really need to make sure that we are incentivizing the young people. And so that's where the stipends come in. And the Full Employment Council and other places over the years, they have, and through Mr. Nunley and others connecting us, kind of like Sherry's doing, telling us, hey, they got some money. Go
Right.
and
Right.
talk to them because that's not what I look
That
for. I
is
normally
good.
looking at the kids. So when people tell us about these programs where we can take, often we've done full career, restaurants, training kids and all that, but they were
Yeah.
able to have stipends where we trained them and then they worked and it was amazing. But, being able to do that. So being able to definitely, Miss Sherry, connect with you as soon as possible to guide us a little more and we'll, do our part. We'll have the kids research and stuff. How do we make sure we get them signed up to a couple of these organizations that might give them a stipend
Right.
because that's big for them. Because if we don't
Right.
give them something, they're going to go get it somewhere else,
That's right.
especially money and
Right.
stuff.
And I think us organizing them now before they're leaving high school with their social security cards and a non-driver's ID and two character references. So when they're doing these
Good point.
internships, they're looking for people to talk about their work ethic, and it's connected to something. It's a referral. And so then they understand it before it's not they have access to it or it's
Yes.
available. Like, why is it important to be your best self at school? Well, when you if you want to go to college or even sometimes the military, they want people that will vouch for your
That is
character.
a good point. And by
You
the
know,
way,
so yes.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was all I was
Let
saying.
me ask for Dr. Graham and Sister Taheed, or is it Dr. Taheed? But ask of both of you two questions. One is time frame Do you operate year round, or is this something that waits for that summer? And two, contact information for those who want to participate. And Sister Tahid, I'll start with you.
Um, well, it is sister. I'm not a doctor.
Okay.
And I would say the contacts are direct, but I will leave if anyone has questions directly for me. My email address is S Tauheed, TAUHEED 2000 at gmail.com. I will put it in the chat so you don't have to remember it, but you can
Okay.
look at it there. And I will also put these links to some of these internships and
Should we be
summer apprenticeship programs
right?
as well.
Now, even though you said summer apprenticeship programs, can you be contacted year round, or is there a better time to make the contacts?
So I would start now. A lot
Okay.
of the applications are available on the different websites.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And for companies that are looking to have internships or apprenticeship programs or stipends,
Yes.
I would definitely sign up. And they're always looking for um, places where young people can go and learn and work.
Yes.
So they are very accommodating on that end, but not as accommodating to the young people
Wow.
because they have to have a cutoff point
Okay. Okay. And let
and a start point and an end point. And of course, they're doing payroll for the young people. So that plays into it as well. And your other question.
no,
So
oh,
the young people will definitely need to have their ID, social security numbers, and I'll try to get some locations for where they can get that if they're born in Kansas City, Missouri, and resources for being able to access those.
and should we make the assumption that if you're talking to youngsters under age 18, that parental involvement is required or desired?
Um, for some programs, it's required. Um, but I will say this desired, let that not be the barrier because there are ways to get around that barrier
Okay.
for young people. So I would apply even if my mother hadn't filed her taxes in 30 years, or I live with my grandmother, or I can't get my adult signature.
Hmm.
Those things can't, there are exceptions, but there are
Wow.
no exceptions if you don't apply.
Thank you very,
Absolutely.
very
And I'm going
much.
to share a thought really quick before Dr. Sarita comes back in.
Hmm.
Um, it's important that with all these organizations, even meaning that do this hiring. I've been working, so I've been here for 27 years.
Yes.
And these organizations that have this money and all this type of stuff and do all of this, um, they do still pick from the cream of the crop. I want to make that real clear.
Ooh,
That
And
is
thank
true.
so
you.
That's
that's
true.
important because we it's our job to make sure that we're helping our kids
Mhm.
to look like
Us.
or definitely be, but definitely
Yes.
look like they
Yes.
belong in the cream of the crop. Because we've had kids, sometimes 20 at a time, that would apply to different places, that means whoever they would apply. But what happens is if they have, not good resumes, or they have, mistakes on their applications, all those things
Oh,
that
yeah.
we take for granted that we wouldn't do it that way.
Wow.
But
Mhm.
it's important because it's big to, a lot of your cutoffs for scholarships, a lot of these schools and these job places, it's March 15th or March 31st. So Miss Sherry's right. There's not a lot of time.
Mm.
But
Now,
with that, we want to make sure that as we're sending the young people, and we'll make sure, Miss Sherry, that we're also helping them to look strong on, it's a sample resume or double check in what they're clicking and stuff. Because sometimes, just like an adult, sometimes we get passed over in that part because we don't check the right things, even applying, and everything's online now. So I wanted to make sure I
Yeah,
was
It is, yeah.
mentioning that piece
Hmm.
because that's critical. But I also wanted to quickly say Miss Sherry is a she is a wealth of information as a community health
yes,
worker, and I want to share that she is an excellent. I mean, she's just health professional, but she is a community health worker that helps. And if you don't know what community health workers are, it could be for another day. Basically, what we do is we are the people who in the communities, and whether it's for me, young people, or for Miss Sherry, definitely, moms and babies and young people, diabetes, community health workers, our job is to go out there, assess the needs of our clientels,
yes.
and we basically go and we resource gather. That's why she has so many
All
resources.
right.
Yeah,
I want
she
to make
was
sure I'm
good on that.
sharing, that's who she is, and that's what we teach, and what we do. And we have a team of community health workers that are out there, that work with me and others too, but work with me to whenever a need is in the community, I call on community health workers or they call me and say, look, here's something going on. We're trying to get this information to these
Yes,
communities so we can be okay. And I just want to share, Miss Sherry, you are amazing. You always have
absolutely.
information because that's what you do and you're amazing at it. So just want to make sure I'm
Thank
sharing
you, thank you,
Well,
thank
more
thank
you.
you
about
for that.
who you
Thank
are.
you
Yeah,
for
So
that.
she was
yes, ma'am.
phenomenal.
Yes, ma'am.
And
This
Hmm.
is excellent. This if okay. I'm
yes.
done. Dr. Sarita, please talk to me some more,
And
please.
back to what we were
We,
asking about year-round and contact information, as well as whatever else you want to respond to, by the
yeah.
way.
Valencia, we will connect. We need to. It's been too long, so. And the lady Sherry, I mean, you awesome. I love her meat that she she brings to the table.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
So, 4 TV stations, year-round, age limits, all of those kinds of things, but most importantly, contact information.
I am putting that there right now.
Okay. And
She got
same
that.
for Dr. Graham, except that you will be offering yours orally, and you can.
I'll connect with Valencia. I
Okay.
need to. I ain't seen her in a while.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I
Appreciate it.
connect with her.
Yes.
No, this is good. But
Now,
your TV stations, they are year round though, Dr. Graham. I think that's
Yeah, I
what.
have 4 of them. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm sorry. That's Mr. Boy. He was asking, so we were just
Hmm.
asking. Well, we're trying to just know a little bit more about you because
Go to my website,
they are
sreelanceministry.com, and you can see
okay.
the TV stations. That you can list the Roku and Apple TV, so you can actually see the TV stations that's actually on my website. And my main focus
Yes,
is just to keep the kids for the summer something positive to do,
oh,
and it
yes.
became very successful. And to just watch them, and they could not believe, that they was on TV. So and it's real. So
it
just
is.
connect. We can connect.
Yes.
And
No, and
that's,
I've seen it there and we will connect. And so the other thing, because I know you like you know me from
Mm-hmm.
we did recovery for years and
Yes.
helping, adults and stuff
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of that, which is a part of also our ministry. And um anything you want to share with us about any of that today? Or like we want to know just more about you and your greatness. I mean, whatever you want to tell us is great, but I know there's so much to you.
But as you
It's
remember,
personal.
my field is mental health and substance abuse.
That's right.
And back in 2005, I lost my daughter. That was something her and I was going to actually do together. But so happening that,
so very sorry. Yes, ma'am.
didn't happen. But I kept the vision on being able to work with people in mental health and substance abuse. And you were talking about the SBC. You didn't list Langston. So,
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Langston there.
In
And
Oklahoma, right?
Oklahoma, yes. And
Yes.
so I just wanted to get back to the community, and that some,
Absolutely.
parent would have to go through what I went through. And so that's the reason why I really focus on the youth, to actually let them have some positive things, but fun things. That, there's greatness in you, and it's not what you do, it's how you do things. to be able to
Praise
watch,
God.
the crowd that you hang around. And I was really amazed when most of the guys, it was more guys that was on the TV station than the girls, and they really enjoyed it. They said, "You're going to do it again this year," and I said, "Yeah, I'm just going to do it again," because one thing I like about them, it gave them a lot of faith.
Yes.
It gave them
Yes.
opportunities that they never thought that they could even had done, and just to listen to them talk and ask each other questions, and just like a talk show. And it was just amazing how successful they were. And so I just want to keep that going for them, to keep them off the streets and from the bad areas that we live in. And I'm just glad that God gave me the opportunity. And what happened is I was at the right place at the right time. So it was about 3 years ago. I went to Bishop Jake's church, and they were talking about somebody in here is going to get blessed when they leave out of here.
Hmm.
Well, when I left out of his church about 3 years ago, I got a phone call, and the man said, "I have a grant for you if you want to." And I said, "Well, I've never did this before." He said, "Well, we can train and teach you." And they gave me 4 TV stations. I still have them today.
Wow, that is
Hmm.
fantastic. Was there any
And
particular reason for the four, or that
They
is
just offered me all four,
that's
of 'em,
and
and I took 'em.
yeah, for you to follow up in
they
the
said,
way
because
that you
you can
have,
handle it.
that is outstanding.
So I
I'm
took them.
sorry.
They was a grant.
What did you say, Valencia?
Because they knew she can handle it. That's why.
Yeah.
But I mean, I mean, some people they just kind of like, I mean, with your operations, them, if even if they didn't know you directly, when people hear all the work that you did and different, sites and stuff,
Hmm.
they know you had some organizational ability to manage different things.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And that just absolutely gives all kind of credibility to Kansas City, Missouri. And my goodness, with this program, DeQuay Wilson was giving our time sign. She is again our producer, engineer, and our co-host. And DeQuay, I wish I had told you before this program to contact people in the United States, abroad, other places, to avail themselves of this wonderful, wonderful information. And as you have given the time sign, please let me start with Paris if you are still with us. But for each of us, a final word to those who are with us. And Valencia, if you don't mind, I'll start with Paris.
Yes.
Paris Holly, are you still with us? You know she's always in the car. She's always going to the game. You know
Yes,
she is.
I
Go.
am actually heading to track orientation right now.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I'm sorry.
um,
Don't feel
but I
obligated.
would say, oh no, I would say because I've been listening to everything everyone has to offer here, and just who you bring onto the show. It's amazing, and making sure we all stay connected because there is a lot of organizations who are trying to figure out how to have their people get in contact to help more. So I know they would want to be a part of this movement. Um, I think it would just be wonderful to just stay in contact and also think about how other businesses could help you help your business succeed and strive even further. So
Wow.
thank you for everything today, and I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you. As a matter of fact, if we had the Nelson Illustrated Dictionary and looked up the word consistency, we would see
Mm.
Paris Holly's photo. You are consistent. We appreciate you. And Sister Tahid, if you would.
Well, I just want to say that I am very grateful to have this opportunity to share resources that I spent every summer of my son's age 12 to 25. He doesn't
Wow.
take any of my
Mm.
resources anymore. He's like, I'm grown. No, but I would like to say those resources helped me um, r- really, as community or village, raise my son around good people.
Yes.
And environment and association is the most important aspect of changing our young people's lives. We can't tell them change, and then we have them in the same
Ooh, good
community around the
point.
same people.
Right.
Um,
Good
and
point.
really, if I think of one thing is knowing the definition of friendship and true love,
Praise
um,
God.
based on action. And I think our young people could use that skill to keep themselves safe, and on track toward their dreams. If they could use those two things to measure who
Wow.
they let in their lives and what they spend their time
Thank you.
around and in. So I just appreciate all of you who work with young people, because that ain't easy.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now,
Oh,
faith, hope, and love, and the greatest of these is love. Here's Dr. Sarita Graham.
I concur. I mean, I'm very honored to be a part, and I want to say thank you for inviting me,
Thank you.
and
Wow.
and everyone that has been on the panel. Let's just say God bless you. And I think there's a new year, it's a new thing that God is really calling us to do in this season. That we all come together and forget about the isms and schism and understand the dynamics of life that need to be taking place in our community. And to my friend Belisa, I mean, it's good to see you, and
Love
I'm
that.
really grateful. I've learned a lot just listening to y'all too. So may God bless each and every one of us that He gave us the opportunity that we can come together. Because He said when two or three gather together, He's in the midst. And so I
Praise
thank
the
God for
Lord.
being in the midst of what we have come together to do, and that we
Yes.
support each other and celebrate each other. And I'm really grateful that you asked me to be a present.
Thank
Thank you.
you. 30 seconds, Valencia Brothers.
I'm going to be making sure that I send this video to YouTube to all my students, because
Yes.
they're at work. Something's going on because normally at least a couple of them pop in, but I know they're trying to work and stuff. But I'm going to send
Absolutely.
it to them because that's how I make sure that they will, we'll check out, the different things together and get them to apply to some stuff because they all want to do something and they
Yes.
volunteer. I'm telling you all the time, but in the summer, we need to find them stipends to keep them together so we can do what Miss Sherry said.
Praise
It's taking
God.
them on
That's good.
trips and stuff. We do it together, but we got to find a
Yes.
way to honestly fund it or, whatever.
Thank you.
Because anyway, that's all I got to say.
God bless you. DeQuay Wilson.
Well, I would like to thank our listeners, our guests, and our viewers for joining us on your Stoots for Boots Wave Your Grades program. We come to you live every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Now, our host, Carl Boyd, will close with either Carl's commentary on academic patriotism or his daily message for students in honor of our veterans from his book, Morning Messages.
To students across the USA, your Suits for Boots message for this day, March 1st. You try in class. They die in battle. You owe them your very best try. This has been Wave Your Grades, KUAW.org. Thank you so much for our very special guests this afternoon. We're out of time. Carl Boyd saying, Gracious God and Wonderful Wanda, I'm on my way home.